Hi everyone, today we're going to do day 2 of notes. We're going to do up here. And this is basically, we're still doing Pythagorean theorem. And we're going to use that same formula, but now we're going to apply it to real world examples. Okay? So let's start with example 1. We're going to solve the following problem using the Pythagorean theorem. Jackson is building a ramp for his porch. The following image shows Jackson's sketch with measurements. What is the What is the length of the angled side of the ramp? So that's this one. That's the side of the ramp that people would walk on or use. So we need to find this side. Now, if you notice, it creates this triangle. Okay, and they told us to use Pythagorean theorem, so we can assume it's a right triangle. So first thing I want to do is label. So because this is the longest side, it's across from the right triangle, that's my C. Okay? Then I just need to label these two legs, and it doesn't matter which one's which, so I labeled this one A and this one B. Okay? Now that I know what A, B, and C are, I can use the formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I'm going to first plug in what I know, the A and B. So now I have 6 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. I'm going to simplify the squares, and that gives me 36 plus 16 equals C squared. And now I can just add these together, and I get 52 equals C squared. Okay? I'm not done though, because they want to know what C is, not what C squared is. So to undo that square, I'm going to square root both sides. So square root will undo the square part. So that'll just leave me with C on this side, but I have to square root the other side just to keep it equal. So I do this in the calculator, and I end up getting that C something. I end up getting that C is equal to 7.21, and I just rounded it off. So that is what C equals. So that's the length of the side. So to answer the question, what is the length of the angled side of the ramp? The answer is 7.21 meters. Okay, and I made sure I used the units that they used here. Okay, so now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Okay, and yeah. Okay, so example 2. Solve the following problem using Pythagorean theorem. So they told us it's going to be a right triangle because we can use that. A firefighter places a ladder against the side of a tall building. It creates the image you see below. How high in the building will the firefighter be when he reaches the top of the ladder? So if you notice, it creates this right triangle, okay? And we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side here, this height, okay? So we have 10 meters, 5 meters, and an unknown value. Well, the 10 meters, that's our hypotenuse, so that has to be our C right here, okay? And then the 5 meters, because it's one of the legs, it can either be B or A. I think this one I made A, yeah. So this would be my B. If I figure out where I put B, there it is. All right, so that's what I'm going to use to plug into the formula. Oop, already did it. So I plug it into the A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And now I have 5 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. I go ahead and simplify what I can, the 5 squared and the 10 squared. So that'll give me 25 plus B squared equals 100. The B squared stayed the same because I don't know what it is. Okay, now I need to get B squared by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. That will leave me with B squared equals 75. Now that I know what B squared is, I can go ahead and use the inverse operation of square rooting to figure out what B is. So to undo the square, I'm going to square root both sides. Okay, that will leave me with B, and then I do the square root of 75 in my calculator, and I end up getting B equals 8.66. Okay, so to answer the question, how high in the building will the firefighter be when he reaches the top of the building? I should have wrote, he will be 8.66 meters high, or the height is 8.66 meters high. So we know that that's what we answered the question asked. And I used the units that they provided. Okay? And now you guys are going to try this one on your own, It might be a little hard to see, but basically it just makes a triangle and we labeled everything for you. Okay? Okay. Example 3. We're still going to use the Pythagorean theorem. The only difference is they did not give me a picture this time. Okay? So, I got to read very carefully. A kite is flying at the end of a 300-foot string. It is 120 feet above. How far away horizontally is the person holding the string from the kite? Draw a diagram if needed. Every time you should draw a diagram. Okay? It can be a basic one, or you can actually draw the picture of what's happening. And I like to draw the picture. So, a kite is flying at the end of 300 feet. So that's what I drew. I drew my kite on a string. I know that that string is going to be 300 feet. Okay? It is 120 feet above the ground. So this right here, it's 120 feet high. Okay? It wants to know how far away is the horizontal length. Horizontal is side to side. So this is the length they're trying to figure out. Okay? That's the one we don't know. And that's the one we're going to try to find. But if you look, it creates that right triangle. My picture will create the right triangle. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and use the Pythagorean theorem to solve it. So I've got, oh, what did I forget to do? I forgot to label, didn't I? And I can't remember what I labeled. Oh, poo. Well, let's find out, because I forgot to write it. You guys should write ABC on your triangle right now. Okay? And I'll do it in 2 seconds because I can't remember. So I plugged it in, so this was my A, this was my B. Ooh, that's weird. Why does it do that? How do I turn it off? Oh. That's very weird. You know? Okay. Apparently I can't do that. And this was my C. Okay? So I labeled it. I should have labeled it first. But then I went ahead and just made sure I had it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and simplify everything. So I can do 120 squared and 300 squared. So that's what I do. So now I have a squared plus 1,440 equals 9,000. And I need to get a squared by itself, so that way I can solve for a. So I'm going to subtract 1,444, not 44, 1,140 from both sides. So that leaves me with a squared equals 7,560. To get a by itself, I'm just going to take the square root of both sides, and I do it in the calculator for sure. So it comes out to be, a equals 86.95. And then I just wrote it as my final answer with the unit that they gave me, feet. So the distance from where the kite is to where you are flying the kite horizontally is 86.95 feet. Okay? So now you guys are going to draw a diagram and solve the problem using Pythagorean theorem. If you have any questions, please write them down. I'm happy to answer them. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.